What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is 90 Day Fiancé episode 11. Child, I'm so far behind, but I'm gonna try to, get y'all some videos while I'm gone. So let's talk about Kobe and Emily to begin with. So Emily takes Kobe to this place called Rock City. Now, I am like Kobe. I thought this was gonna be like a mini rock and roll Hall of Fame type situation. I thought that, maybe it was going to be like an attraction, like, south of the border kind of thing. It's just a lot of rocks. And she was like, that's where we used to hang out. That's where everybody goes, Rock City. And she was so excited to go to Rock City. Like, it was really an event. And I feel like this reminds me of when I was in college. And I used to talk to like one of my girlfriends who was from like the country. And she used to talk about how in high school they used to go out cow tipping and how much fun they used to have. And I was like, y'all really just used to go out on the weekends and just push cows over while they were sleeping. That was a good time for y'all. Okay. I feel like it was the equivalent of that. Like, that's where you grew up. That's what a good time looked like, right? So then we see Emily going shopping for her dress, right? She got her family with her. She finds the dress. It's a beautiful dress, and she's talking to her family about, of course, all of their concerns and everything as it relates to Kobe and this, and this, and this, and that. And then we find out that the girl done bought her own ring. She bought a ring because she wants a real diamond. She doesn't like the first ring that Kobe bought her, which is understandable because she said it looked like something he just bought from a bubblegum machine, while they was out in China. However, or Japan, wherever they were. However, she done bought a ring because she was like, just in case he doesn't give me a ring that I like or give me the ring that I want. She done already created her own little security blanket. And I was like, that's rude as F. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's messed up. You gonna buy your own ring because you're not sure that he gonna be able to do what you want him to do as far as it. I was like, you want to talk about emasculating somebody. That is a really good, quick way to emasculate somebody. But anyway, child. All right, so then we get to Jabril and Miona. Now, we see where Jabril is talking to his family about feeling like he's being pulled in 3 different directions, not feeling like he's in a good space, and really he wants to push the wedding back. He feels like maybe, because his stepfather asked him, he said, listen, if y'all didn't have this 90-day timeline, would you get married? He was like, no. He said, okay, well then you need to think about that. Like, you need to really consider whether y'all are ready for this step. And then they start talking about how Miona is very controlling. She was like, the reason, his mom was like, well, the reason why we're having this conversation outside of the house is because I can't have a private conversation with you in the house. And I shouldn't have to leave my own house to have a private conversation with my son. She said when we talk, she's calling you every 5 minutes, and it's just a lot, I think it's a combination here. Like, I think her mama don't like her. I think his mama don't like her. But I also think she's not going out of her way to be liked. Y'all know what I'm saying? Jabril is talking about how the album didn't get finished and things just aren't good. Like, things just are not in a good space as far as they're concerned. As far as that whole thing is concerned. Let me see here. Now, he did talk to Miona about slowing things down and, maybe taking a step back. And Miona was like, no, that's not going to happen. Like, if we don't get married now, then we ain't getting married. Like, that's it. Like, I didn't, leave my family and give up everything I knew to come here just for you to be like, nah, we not ready. Like, I'm not. And again, I understand where she's coming from that point of view, too. Like, she did give up a lot. Like, whether you like her or not, she gave up a lot. She moved across the country. She can't work. She can't do this. She can't do that. She's relying on this man. And now he's saying, well, I think maybe we should wait a while. I'm not saying, she said, listen, if I go back home, I'm not coming back. Because if they don't get married in those 90 days, she has to leave. Which means they have to start the process all over again. And she's like, I'm not doing that. I don't blame her. Now, I ain't crazy about Miona, but on that one, I don't blame her. I'm be honest with you. I don't blame her. Child. Now we have Patrick and Theus. I feel like I did this video already, y'all. I really feel like I already did this video. Anyway, because I remember saying some of the same stuff. But anyway. So, I'm going to keep going because maybe I didn't. So, they go out shopping. And they're looking for things for the house. And everything she wants to buy, he's like, no. And he's really in his feelings right now over, I don't even know what he's mad about at this point. But, you know, now he's throwing stuff in her face that he did. Well, I've spent a lot of money since you've been here, and I've done this and I've done that. Well, because she wanted to know about the finances. And he was like, don't worry about the finances. We got enough. And he was like, why am I answering questions about the money? Like, it's not your money. Don't worry about it. We can pay our bills. And I understand part of the frustration. Part of the hesitation to talk to her about the finances. But the flip side is she has a right to know. Like, if y'all are getting ready to get married and she can't work, she kind of has a right to know, you know. But I understand the frustration. So they're in this store and the salesperson is kind of like in that awkward position of, okay, I don't know what's going on here. Like, I don't know why they mad at each other. I don't know why they fighting, you know. And everything she picks up, he's like, no. And finally, they just end up walking out of there with a damn vase. And she was like, yeah, we just got a stupid vase. Like, everything, you know, he don't want to buy a rug. He don't want to buy a sofa. He don't want nothing. Just a vase. And so she was like, what is going on with you? What's up? And they get into this argument about money. And that's when he was like, you know, I've spent so much money on you since we've been here. And all you want me to do is spend. Like, I'm starting to feel like, and he didn't say this to her, but he said this in his confessional. He's starting to feel like that's all she's looking for. Like, that's all she's there for. So, he ends up doing probably one of the worst things that a man can do to a woman. He threw money at her and basically was like, here, is this what you want? Is this what you want? He threw a credit card at her. He's like, go ahead, do what you want. Go buy what you want to buy. Go ahead. And that, especially in the situation that she's in, where she can't work, where she is dependent on him, that was very disrespectful. I understood his frustration, but there's a way that you explain your frustration before it gets to that point. That was disrespectful as all get out. Bilal and Shanita. So they are going down to visit his sister in Atlanta, and his sister's going to help with the wedding planning. They go dress shopping and things like that. And while they're at the dress shop, her and the sister end up having a good conversation about her reservations about Bilal. Now, I'm going to say this. You got to be very careful when you're talking to family, because at the end of the day, she may be a good ear. She may be a shoulder to lean on, but that is still his sister. And at the end of the day, he is going to always be right. Well, I shouldn't say he's going to always be right, but you have to feel like she's going to lean in his direction. Now, all family ain't like that, but I'm looking at this woman and, you know, even though she heard everything you had to say, she brought it back around to, well, you know, he's this and he's that and he's this, basically defending him. And you got to just kind of take that into consideration that she's defending her brother, right? And she even said, I know this is your brother and everything, but I really just don't have anybody else to talk to. But she was talking about how OCD he is and how, you know, she always feels like he's talking down to her and being, you know, kind of condescending to her, you know. And she was like, well, you know, he is set in his ways and, you know, but have you talked to him about it, and maybe y'all can, you know, work it out like this and do that, whatever. She coming up with suggestions that ain't gonna work with Bilal ass. So Bilal ends up taking Shanita out to downtown Atlanta. They get on the Ferris wheel. He gets the VIP, you know, and she's nervous because she's scared of heights, and so, you know, she's nervous. But I'll give her credit, she did it. You know, she did get on the Ferris wheel, and she's nervous. So he decides that a way to distract her from being nervous about being in the air is to introduce the prenup to her. Sir, what? He thought that was a good idea. He thought that that was the right thing in that moment, was to introduce the prenup. What? Like, he really thought that was a good idea, y'all. The hell? So he said, well, remember we talked about this before? And she was like, yeah, but I told you I didn't want one. Like, we talked about it, but we talked about it, and I said, no, I didn't want to do a prenup. And, of course, in his regular Bilal way, it went over his head because it's what he wants. And so he shows her the document, and she's reading through it. And, of course, that totally kills the mood. Totally kills the mood. And he going to say in his confessional, you know, it probably, you know, maybe it wasn't the best decision, but I really thought, you know, that it would be a good distraction. Child. And so, of course, she's upset. Understandably, she's upset because she doesn't want a prenup. Like, she's been clear about that. Child, so the two of them, so she gets to talking about what's in the prenup, and she was like, you know, well, what about, you know, because it's, of course, it's protecting his kids and stuff like that. And she said, what about our kids, you know? And here he go, him and Han about having a kid again. And I was like, so you want her to sign a prenup, you want her to do all of these things, but you still don't want to give her what she said basically is a non-negotiable for her, which is to have children. Like, that's a non-negotiable for her. And I feel like if you had been honest with her about the fact that you didn't want no children, it may be, it may have been a different situation. Anyway. All right, back up to New York. We have Bimmy and what's her name? Aria, whatever the girl name is. It's the aftermath of the big ass fight they had down to the gym where she was mad that he was training with a woman. And, you know, she's telling him, listen, you can't lie to me. Like, he said, well, I didn't tell you because I knew you was going to be mad. And she was like, well, I'm definitely going to be mad when I find out. Like, you can't lie to me about these things. If you, you know, if you want to have a, you know, I have to be able to trust you. This is the whole thing here. You know, and I don't want to feel like I can't trust you to do what you need to do. So then we found out that he, you know, he apologizes and all that good stuff, child. So then we found out he's having his first fight. And of course she's nervous about the fight. She's nervous about him having his first fight. She's worried about, you know, what's really going to happen here with this whole fight situation. He ends up having his fight and he wins the fight, you know, and I don't know if that was staged for the cameras or if he really kicked that dude's butt, but it was like quick, you know. He went in, he did what he had to do. Kara and Guillermo, they had a real quick scene. Basically, we see Kara meeting up with a friend of hers, and her friend is like basically talking to her about wanting to get married and settle down. And he was like, so like, how did this come about? Like, how did it come about that you decided you wanted to get married and you wanted to settle down? Like, because the Kara I know was always footloose and fancy free and was never ready to settle down and never ready to get married. Like, why all of a sudden now, why him? And she's like, you know, well, I love him and, you know, blah, 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 right? It was pretty a quick scene. Like, I don't even know why they threw that in there with them because that's all we saw. So then she starts talking about how she wants him to step up a little bit and be a little more forceful because she know that she can be, you know, have a very domineering personality. And her friend is like, yeah, but he was like, I know Kara. And she's saying that because it sounds good, but that ain't what she really wants. She really just wants somebody that's going to sit back and let her do whatever she wanted to do. Let her do whatever she wants to do, I should say. And so he's trying to talk to her like, listen, you got to be careful. You know, you got to accept people for who they are. You can't make him do what you want him to do. And when he does step up, you got to remember that you said that's what you wanted. You know, remember that's where you said you wanted this relationship to go. And of course she talks about the money thing and the wedding and him wanting to have this big wedding and, you know, blah, 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 blah.